The message came from the dark, deep in the silent void between stars. A signal, pulsed weak, desperate, repeating the same sequence over and over. It was not meant for human ears, but humans heard it anyway. Dr. Kyle Warren sat hunched over his console in the lunar deep space array, fingers flying across the screen as he filtered out cosmic noise. The signal was faint, almost buried under the static of the universe, but it was real, and it was repeating. He leaned back, rubbing his tired eyes. 3 days without sleep. 3 days chasing this ghost in the machine. And now, here it was clear, structured, artificial. "Got you," he muttered. The computer translated the signal into basic mathematical patterns. Simple, but deliberate. A distress call. Kyle grabbed his cum. "Commander Holt, you need to see this." Lisa Holt had been in the middle of a combat drill when the call came. She wiped sweat from her brow, her muscles still tense from the simulated zero-gravity fight. The USV Resolute was Earth's newest deep space cruiser, and she was its commander. If something had caught Kyle's attention, it was worth looking at. She stepped into the observation deck, where Kyle waited, his dark hair messy from hours of work. The screen displayed a looping, signal mathematical, rhythmic. "That's not natural," Lisa said. "No," Kyle agreed. "It's a distress call. It's coming from outside our explored space." Lisa studied the data. The signal originated from a planet orbiting a binary star system, far beyond where human ships had ever gone. The message was simple. "Help us." "Who sent it?" she asked. Kyle shook his head. "No idea, but if they're asking for help, they must need it bad." The United Sol Federation debated for 2 days. Some argued it was a trap. Others said humanity had no business interfering in alien affairs. But Lisa stood firm. "If they're asking for help, we answer," she said. "That's what we do." The council hesitated. Humanity was still new to the stars. Their fastest ships had barely scratched the edges of nearby systems. This was beyond their reach. But the signal kept repeating. In the end, they agreed. The Resolute would go. The ship launched 3 weeks later. Stood on the bridge as the engines hummed to life. The crew 30 of Earth's best moved with quiet efficiency. Kyle was among them, monitoring the alien signal as they prepared for the jump. "Ready?" Lisa asked. He nodded. "Let's see who's calling." The Resolute's warp drive engaged. Space twisted. The stars blurred. Then silence. They emerged near a red and blue binary star, the light casting eerie shadows across the ship. Ahead of them, a planet hung in the void. Velner Prime. The distress signal was coming from here. The planet was dying. From orbit, they could see it vast deserts where oceans once were, cities half buried in dust. The atmosphere was thin, the land cracked and dry. Whatever had happened here, it had been bad. Lisa ordered a landing party. The shuttle touched down near one of the alien cities, structures tall and fragile looking like glass spires ready to collapse. The air was breathable, barely. The humans stepped out, armored but unarmed. First contact protocols demanded caution. Then the aliens appeared. They were tall, slender, their skin pale and almost translucent. Large, dark eyes watched the humans with something like fear. One of them stepped forward, speaking in a soft, melodic language. Kyle's translator picked up the words. You came." Lisa nodded. "We heard your call." The aliens' gaze swept over the humans, their thick muscles, their heavy armor, the way they moved like predators, even when trying to be calm. Then, without warning, the alien fainted. The others gasped, backing away in horror. Kyle blinked. Did we do that?" Lisa sighed. "This is going to be interesting." The Velners scrambled back as their scholar collapsed. 2 of them rushed forward, thin limbs trembling as they dragged the unconscious alien away. Their large, dark eyes flickered with something between fear and disbelief. Lisa Holt held up a hand, signaling her team to stay still. Easy, no sudden moves. Kyle Warren crouched slowly, keeping his hands visible. "We're not here to hurt you," he said, though he wasn't sure the translator caught the meaning right. One of the Velner, taller than the rest, stepped forward. His voice was soft, like wind through reeds. "You are the ones who answered." Lisa nodded. "Yes, we heard your signal. The aliens exchanged glances. Then the taller one spoke again. "We're not what we expected." Kyle frowned. "What did you expect?" The Vellner hesitated. "Not this." His gaze traveled over the humans, their broad shoulders, their dense frames, the way their boots left deep prints in the soft soil. "You are heavy."
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa almost laughed. "Our planet has stronger gravity than yours." The Vellner's eyes widened. "Ch, you come from a high-gravity world?" "Yeah," Kyle said. "Earth's about 1.5 times standard." The aliens recoiled as if struck. One of them whispered something the translator didn't catch. Lisa sighed. "Look, we're here to help. Your signal said you were in trouble." The tall Vellner hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, but first you must come inside. The air is better there." The Vellner city was a maze of delicate towers, their walls thin as paper. The humans had to walk carefully there. Every step made the floor tremble. The aliens flinched each time. Kyle kept his voice low. "They're acting like we're made of stone." Lisa nodded. "To them, we might as well be." They were led to a large chamber, its ceiling arched like a cathedral. The air here was cleaner, filtered through some kind of plant system. The Vellner gestured for them to sit. The humans hesitated. The furniture looked too fragile. Lisa decided standing was safer. The tall Vellner, who introduced himself as Elder Vrin, spread his hands. "We sent the signal many cycles ago. We did not think anyone would come." Kyle crossed his arms. "What's happening here?" Vrin's expression darkened. "Our world is dying." The rain stopped. Soil turned to dust. "We tried to fix it, but..." He trailed off. Lisa frowned. "That's not all, is it?" The Elder hesitated. Then softly he said, "No." Before he could explain, a sharp alarm echoed through the chamber. The Vellner froze, their faces twisting in fear. One of them whispered a single word: "Krith." Outside, the sky darkened. Not from clouds, from ships. Massive, jagged vessels descended, their hulls black as void.
Ow.
They moved silently, blotting out the sun. Lisa's grip tightened on her cum. "Resolute, do you see this?" The response crackled. "We see them. Unknown configuration, no energy signatures like anything on record." Kyle's stomach dropped. They're not here to help. The Vellner were panicking now, their voices high and frantic. Elder Vrin turned to Lisa, his eyes desperate. "You must leave now." Lisa didn't move. "What are those things?" "The Krith," Vrin said. "They come when a world is weak. They take what is left." Kyle's blood ran cold. "They're scavengers." "Worse," Vrin whispered. "They are hunters." The first Krith ship landed near the city. From it emerged creatures like nightmares. Tall, skeletal, their bodies covered in chitinous plates. They moved on to many limbs, their movements jerky and unnatural. Their faces were smooth, featureless, except for a slit where a mouth should be. Lisa's hand went to her sidearm, weapons ready. The humans drew their guns. The Vellner gasped. They had never seen firearms before. The Krith advanced, their steps silent. Then one of them raised a limb. Pulse of energy shot out, striking a Vellner in the chest. The alien collapsed, convulsing. Lisa didn't hesitate. She fired. The bullet struck the Krith's chest stand, punched straight through. Black fluid sprayed as the creature staggered, then fell. For a moment, everything was still. Then the other Krith turned toward the humans, and the real fight began. The humans moved like a storm. Bullets tore through Krith armor like paper. The aliens had never faced projectiles before. Their shields were built for energy weapons, not kinetic force. Kyle shot one in the head, its skull exploding in a burst of dark ichor. Another lunged at Lisa, and she sidestepped, driving her combat knife into its throat. The Vellner watched in stunned silence. The Krith kept coming. More ships landed. Our hunters poured out. Lisa grabbed Vrin. "We need to fall back." "Now," the Elder nodded, still staring at the dead Krith. You killed them." Kyle ejected a spent magazine. "Yeah, that's the idea." The Vellner looked at the humans with something new in their eyes. The humans and Vellner retreated into the city's inner chambers, the sounds of battle fading behind thick walls. The Krith didn't follow, not yet. They were regrouping, calling more of their kind. Lisa Holt checked her rifle. 3 rounds left. Need to get back to the shuttle. Elder Vryn shook his head. The Krith will shoot you down before you reach orbit. Kyle Warren wiped black Krith blood from his knife.
House?
Then we fight our way out. The Velnir looked at each other. One of them, a younger male with silver-tinted skin, spoke up. You really think you can win? Lisa met his eyes. We don't plan on losing. A loud crash echoed through the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. The Krith were breaking in. Vryn turned to the humans. There is another way. Underground tunnels? They lead to an old research facility. The Krith don't know about it. Lisa nodded. Lead the way. The tunnels were narrow, the air stale. Humans had to crouch to avoid hitting their heads. The Velnir moved silently ahead, their thin bodies built for these tight spaces. Kyle's shoulders scraped against the wall. Remind me why we didn't bring smaller people, Lisa smirked. Because smaller people wouldn't have punched through those Krith like we did. After an hour of walking, they reached a sealed door. Vryn pressed his hand against a panel and it slid open with a hiss. The room beyond was filled with strange equipment, glowing screens, floating holograms, tanks of liquid that pulsed like living things. Kyle whistled. Nice hideout. Vryn moved to a central console. This is where we studied the Krith. We learned terrible things. Lisa stepped closer. Like what? The Elder activated a hologram, showed a star map, dozens of systems marked in red. The Krith don't just scavenge, they farm. Kyle frowned. Farm what? Life. Vryn said. They find dying worlds, weak civilizations. They let them struggle, let them call for help. Then, when rescuers come, a hologram changed, showing Krith ships swarming over a planet, harvesting everything: plants, animals, people. Lisa's stomach turned. They used distress signals as bait. Vryn nodded. They expected weak saviors. They did not expect. A loud alarm blared. One of the Velnir at the console gasped. The ground shook. Something heavy was pounding on the door. Kyle grabbed his gun. How many? The Velnir's voice trembled. Many. Too many? Lisa turned to Vryn. Is there anything here we can use as weapons? The Elder hesitated, then rushed to a sealed container. We have this. It was ... forbidden. He opened the case. Inside were several wristbands, sleek and silver. Kyle picked one up. What do they do? Energy projectors, Vin said, made to fight the Krith, but they were too dangerous for us to use. Lisa snapped one onto her arm. It hummed to life, glowing blue. Why? Vryn looked away. The recoil breaks our bones. Lisa grinned. Perfect. The door exploded inward. Krith poured into the room, their many limbs skittering across the floor. Lisa raised her arm and fired. A bolt of blue energy shot out, striking the lead Krith in the chest. The force knocked her back a step, but the Krith was vaporized. Kyle whooped, and now we're talking. The humans formed a line, their new weapons blazing. Each shot tore through the Krith like paper. The aliens hesitated, their advance faltering. One of the Krith made a strange clicking noise. Then they did something unexpected. They ran. The remaining creatures turned and fled back through the broken door. The Velnir stood in shocked silence. Kyle lowered his weapon. Did we just ... scare them? Lisa watched the empty doorway. No, they're not scared. They're smart. Vryn trembled. What do you mean? She turned to him. They're going to call for reinforcements. Bigger ones. And they'll be ready for us next time. The room went quiet. Then Kyle cracked his knuckles. Good. I was starting to get bored. The underground facility buzzed with activity. Velnir scientists scrambled to prepare more weapons while humans checked their gear. The wrist-mounted energy projectors hummed with power, their blue glow reflecting off the walls. Lisa Holt studied the star maps still floating above the console. We need to hit them first, before more ships arrive. Elder Vryn shook his head. Cannot fight their entire fleet. There are too many. Kyle Warren adjusted his projector. We don't need to fight them all, just the ones here. A young Velnir female named Tessa spoke up. The Krith mothership orbits our moon. If you could reach it... Lisa's head snapped up. Mothership. Tessa brought up another hologram, showing a massive vessel shaped like a jagged claw. It controls the others. destroy it, and the rest will scatter. Kyle grinned. Now that's a plan. The ground shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Krith were getting closer. Lisa made a decision. We take the fight to them. Kyle, prep the shuttle. We're going to that moon. Rin grabbed her arm. You'll die. The mothership has hundreds of Krith warriors. Lisa looked down at where his thin fingers touched her armored sleeve. You keep forgetting something, Elder. What? We're not like you. The shuttle launch was rough. Krith fighters swarmed like angry insects, their energy weapons flashing in the dark. Lisa gripped the controls as the small ship twisted through the barrage. Someone tell me these things have seatbelts. Kyle, crammed in the back with 3 human soldiers, laughed. You wanted excitement? A blast rocked the shuttle. Warning lights flashed. Shields at 40%, shouted Corporal Diaz. Lisa gritted her teeth. Almost there. The moon grew larger in the view screen. The mothership loomed ahead, its spiked hull bristling with weapons. Kyle checked his projector. So ... Anyone have a plan for when we get inside? Lisa smiled. Same as always. Shoot anything that moves. The shuttle crashed through the mothership's docking bay doors in a shower of sparks. Before the smoke cleared, humans were moving. They fanned out, weapons ready. The bay was empty except for a few startled Krith workers who scrambled away in terror. Diaz kicked open a storage crate. Look at this. Inside were rows of pods filled with liquid. Suspended in them were creatures from dozens of species. Some Lisa recognized from the star map, others completely alien, preserved like specimens. Kyle's face darkened. They're collecting them. A noise echoed through the bay, hundreds of clicking, scraping sounds. Lisa raised her weapon. They know we're here. The first wave of Krith warriors came pouring through the doors. What followed wasn't a battle, it was a slaughter. The humans moved like demons, their projectors cutting through Krith's ranks. The aliens had never faced enemies like this, creatures who could take a hit and keep fighting, who didn't tire, who seemed to enjoy the fight. Kyle took down 3 Krith with 1 shot, the energy blast punching through their lined-up bodies. Diaz used a broken pipe as a club, crushing chitinous skulls with each swing. Lisa led the charge forward, following Tessa's directions to the control center. Every step was fought for, every corridor taken with blood and fire. Then something strange happened. A Krith lunged at Private Chen, its claw scraped across his arm, drawing blood. The Krith froze. Black veins spread from the wound on its limb. The creature shuddered, then collapsed, its body dissolving into foul-smelling ooze. Chen stared at his bleeding arm. What the hell? Lisa's eyes widened. Our blood. It's toxic to them. Kyle laughed wildly. Are you telling me we're poisonous? A new voice came over the ship's comms. It was Tessa. Patched through from the planet. Humans. Your biology. The bacteria in your body, it's lethal to them. Lisa looked at the dead Krith, then at her team. Grins spread across their faces. Well, she said, that changes things. The discovery changed everything. Lisa Holt looked at the dissolving Krith corpse, then at her bleeding soldier. A slow smile spread across her face. We're not just dangerous to them, poison. Kyle Warren wiped black Krith blood from his energy projector. So what's the plan? Spit on them? Lisa activated her cum. Tessa, can you hear me? The Velner scientist's voice crackled through. Yes, our scans show the bacteria in your body's attacks Krith cells at a molecular level. How long does it take? Seconds for direct blood contact. Minutes if they breathe your airborne microbes. Lisa turned to her team. New plan. We bleed. The soldiers looked at each other. Then, as one, they pulled combat knives and made small cuts on their arms. Blood welled up, dark red against their skin. Kyle dipped his fingers in the blood. Never thought I'd weaponize my own body. They moved through the mothership like a plague. Every corridor became a death trap for the Krith. The humans smeared blood on door controls, on weapons, on anything the aliens might touch. When Krith warriors attacked, the humans fought back with bloodied blades and bare hands. The effect was immediate. Krith who got too close began twitching, their limbs locking up as black veins spread under their chitin. Some collapsed mid-charge. Others ran, only to stumble and dissolve a few steps later. Lisa led the charge to the bridge, her boots leaving bloody footprints. The few surviving Krith fled at the sight of them. their clicking cries filled with something new. Terror. Kyle laughed as another group of aliens scrambled away. They're scared of us? Diaz wiped his bloody knife on a console. Good, they should be. The bridge doors were sealed tight. Lisa steadied the control panel. No way to open this without explosives. Private Chen held up his injured arm, or he could think smaller. He pressed his bleeding wound against the door's ventilation slit. The others followed suit, letting their blood drip into the ship's air system. Inside the bridge, the effect was almost funny. Krith commanders jerked upright as the contaminated air reached them. One by one, they began clutching at their breathing slits, their bodies convulsing. The view screens showed the scene in perfect detail as the humans watched through the security cameras. The lead Krith stumbled to the door controls. With its last strength, it slammed a claw down. The doors slid open. Lisa stepped through, her weapon ready, but there was no need. The bridge was silent. Only bubbling black puddles remained where the Krith commanders had been. Kyle whistled. Well, it worked better than expected. Tess's voice came through the come again. Lisa, the other Krith ships, they're breaking orbit. On the main view screen, dozens of Krith vessels turned away from Velner Prime, their engines flaring as they fled into deep space. Diaz blinked. Did we just win? Lisa moved to the control console. Not yet. Her fingers flew across the alien controls. We need to send a message. She activated the mothership's comm array, broadcasting on all Krith frequencies. The screen showed hundreds of alien faces as ships across the system received the transmission. Lisa leaned forward, her blood-streaked face filling their screens. This is Commander Lisa Holt of Earth. Your mothership is ours. Your warriors are dead, and your species. She smiled, a predator's grin. You're allergic to us. She held up a bloodied hand for emphasis. The effect was instant. Every remaining Krith ship jumped to warp speed, fleeing in panic. Kyle clapped her on the back. That's how you make a first impression. Back on Velner Prime, the mood was different. The humans returned to cheering crowds. Velner of all ages pressed close, their large eyes wide with awe. Children reached out to touch human armor, then jumped back when the warriors smiled at them. Elder Vryn approached, his posture different now, less fearful, more respectful. We did what we could not in 100 cycles. The Krith are gone. Lisa removed her helmet. They'll be back. Maybe not for you, but for someone else. Kyle nodded. This was just one fleet. There'll be more. Vryn surprised them by standing taller. Then we will be ready. Thanks to you, we now know how to fight. Tessa stepped forward holding a data crystal. We've analyzed your biology. With your permission, we could create defenses based on your microbes. Lisa exchanged looks with her team. Then she nodded. Do it, but there's one more thing. What? She grinned. You're going to need heavier guns. The celebration lasted 3 days. Velner Prime had never seen such noise, such energy. The humans moved through the crowds like giants, their laughter booming, their strength on full display. Children dared each other to touch the armored warriors, then ran away squealing when the humans pretended to growl. Lisa Holt watched it all from a balcony. The city looked different now, less like a dying place, more like a world waking up. Kyle Warren joined her, holding 2 glasses of something purple and fizzy. Try this. The locals call it star wine. Tastes like blueberries and lightning. Lisa took a sip. Her eyes watered. Holy hell, yeah. They've been drinking it for 5 minutes and they're all giggling. I had 3 glasses and almost punched a hole in the wall. Below them, a group of young Velner males were attempting human push-ups. Their thin arms trembled with effort. Lisa shook her head. They're trying to be like us. Kyle grinned. Can't blame them. We're basically superheroes here. A soft chime sounded. Elder Vryn appeared in the doorway. Commander Holt, the Federation representatives have arrived. The meeting chamber was full. On one side sat the human delegation, Lisa Kyle. It's Captain Reynolds from the newly arrived USV Titan. Across from them were Velner elders and, to everyone's surprise, representatives from 3 other alien species. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms spoke first. We are the Jorax. The Krith harvested 6 of our worlds before we learned to hide. Small, furry creature with large black eyes added, We are the Melon. They took our children. The 3rd alien, a crystalline being that shimmered as it moved, said nothing. It simply projected an image of a dead world. Captain Reynolds leaned forward. The Krith have been doing this for a long time, haven't they? Rin nodded. They are the scourge of the galaxy. But, till you came. All eyes turned to the humans. Lisa cleared her throat. We didn't do this alone. The Velner gave us the tools to fight. The Jorax representative made a clicking sound. But it was your bodies that won the battle. Your ... death world biology. Kyle shifted uncomfortably. We prefer human, Melon squeaked. Can you teach others to fight like you? Lisa and Reynolds exchanged glances. The captain spoke carefully. We can share technology, tactics, but our bodies, it's not something we can give you. Crystalline Alien projected another image, this time of human ships protecting alien worlds. Rin smiled. They're suggesting an alliance. The terms were simple. Humanity would provide protection. The other species would share technology, resources, and knowledge. Together, they would create a defense network against the Krith and other threats. Reynolds hesitated at one point. Earth's government will want assurances. We're still new to interstellar politics. The Jorax representative spread all four hands. What assurances do you need? Lisa answered before Reynolds could. No more hiding. More waiting for the Krith to pick you off one by one. If we do this, we stand together. All of us. The aliens looked at each other. Then, one by one, they agreed. The Melon representative surprised everyone by leaping onto the table. Then we name you our shield, our claws, our death world protectors. Kyle whispered to Lisa. I think we just got adopted by the galaxy. Later in orbit, Lisa stood on the bridge of the Titan. The massive warship dwarfed the little Resolute. Its hull gleamed with new hybrid technology, Velnor energy shields, Jorax plasma cannons, all built to human specifications. Reynolds joined her at the viewport. First of its class, the USV Titan, fitting name, don't you think? Outside, a fleet of alien ships moved into formation around them. Gorax cruisers, Melon scouts, even a few crystalline vessels that seemed to phase in and out of visibility. Lisa took it all in. We came to answer one distress call. Now look at us, Reynolds chuckled. Turns out the galaxy needed Deathworlders after all. A comm officer called out. Commander Holt? Incoming message from Earth Command. Lisa took the call. The voice of Admiral Pierce came through crisp and clear. Commander, your report has caused quite a stir down here. Council wants to know. Are you sure about this alliance? Lisa looked at the alien fleet, at the blue-green world below, at the faces of her crew. Positive, sir. They needed heroes. She smiled. They got us instead. One standard year later, the message reached the farthest corners of known space. It traveled through quantum relays and hyperwave buoys, jumping from system to system faster than light. On merchant ships and battle cruisers, in crowded spaceports and lonely research stations, beings of 100 species stopped to listen. The message was simple. A single image repeated endlessly. A human fist wrapped in alien steel. Beneath it, 3 words in every major language. We answer calls. On the edge of Krith space, a scout ship intercepted the transmission. The captain, an old warrior with cracked chitin, watched the message loop 10 times before turning to its crew. Change course, it said. Mark these coordinates as forbidden. The navigator hesitated. But the harvesting grounds are lost to us now, the captain finished. The Deathworlders have claimed them. Lisa Holt stood on the observation deck of the newly built Starbase Vanguard. Below her, ships from 12 species came and went in an endless dance. Human cruisers patrolled beside Jorax battleships. Velner research vessels docked next to Melon traders. Kyle Warren joined her, handing over a steaming mug. Real coffee. Just arrived from Earth. Lisa took a sip and sighed, worth every credit. They watched in comfortable silence as a crystalline freighter passed by, its prism-like hull scattering sunlight. You ever think about how crazy this is? Kyle asked. A year ago we were answering a distress call, now we're running a galactic alliance. Lisa smiled. Turns out the galaxy needed what we had. Brute strength and bad attitudes. Like that, she said, and something else. In the main hangar, a group of Velner cadets trained under human instructors. Again, shouted Sergeant Diaz. Dar, your enemy is stronger, faster, you must be smarter. The young aliens moved through combat drills, their once fragile bodies now toughened by human training. One cadet, a female named Ellen, executed a perfect takedown on her partner. Diaz nodded approval. Better. Still wouldn't last 5 seconds against a real Krith. Ellen stood tall, and teach us to last 6. Nearby, a Jorax engineer and human technician worked side by side on a hybrid engine. The Jorax's forehands moved in sync with the humans too, their tools flashing. "See," the human said. "More power, less waste." The Jorax trilled in excitement. "This changes everything." Admiral Pierce arrived at noon. He toured the station with Lisa, stopping often to marvel at the alien technologies now integrated into human designs. "The Council is pleased," he told her. "Earth's economy is booming. Our tech has advanced 50 years in 12 months. Lisa watched a group of melon children playing with human toys. And the cost? Minimal. A few ships, some resources." He paused. "A lot of changed perspectives." They reached the memorial walla, massive slab of black stone, etched with names. Human and alien alike. Those lost in the first battles against the Krith. Pierce touched one name. Captain Reynolds. Lisa nodded. He knew the risks. "And the rewards?" Pierce added. "Look what he helped build." That night, station received a new signal. Weak, distant. Repeating. Lisa and Kyle rushed to the command center where Tessa, now the station's chief science officer, had the message on screen. "Another distress call?" Kyle asked. Tessa shook her head. "Not quite." The message showed a new species, tentacled beings with glowing eyes under, attacked by something massive and dark. The image shook with each impact. Then came the words, translated automatically. "If any hear this, we call to the Deathworlders." Lisa straightened. Around her, the crew waited silently. She turned to Pierce. "Orders, sir." The Admiral didn't hesitate. "Send the Titan." As alarms sounded and crews scrambled, Kyle grinned at Lisa. "Guess we're not done answering calls." She checked her sidearm. "We're just getting started." Across the galaxy, the message spread. From the Jorax homeworld to Melon Colony ships, from Velner cities to hidden crystalline outposts, the word passed like fire. "They called," he answered. "On 1,000 worlds, in 100 languages, beings whispered the same truth. The Deathworlders were coming. The galaxy would never be the same."